The YouTuber who decided to become a boxer again is once again at the center of controversy for facing off against another retired fighter. But during the official announcement, the name of who will face Jake Paul did cause a stir. The former undisputed heavyweight champion Mike Tyson will come out of retirement for an exhibition fight in July of 2024. This is an unprecedented event, and to get you prepared, I bring you all the details. Welcome and make yourself comfortable. This analysis is about to begin. The world had already had enough chaos by the time news stopped even those who are not followers of the discipline. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson announced that they will face each other in a heavyweight boxing match, and nothing was the same again. Of course, the background of this fight is a big money business in which surely both fighters will come out well-positioned. It will take place on Saturday, July 20th, 2024, and anyone who wants to witness it is invited to get their tickets to attend AT&T Stadium. But surely, the fight will also mark a milestone on streaming platforms, because the event will be broadcast live on Netflix. Do you already have your subscription to the service? If not, you still have time to get it. Many media outlets have dubbed this future encounter as another beacon in the era of crossover. But what do they mean by this? To explain it to you, I must go back to the beginnings of Jake Paul. Far from the honorable fighting ring, Paul started as a comedy YouTuber. His unusual videos attracted the attention of millions of people, making him an increasingly prominent figure in the digital age. With his development on social media, multiple controversies also arose. I can't tell you that Paul always came out victorious from them, however, he managed them well enough to not let his scandals end his career. Do you think it can't be that bad? In 2018, the prestigious website La Vanguardia published an article titled, "If You Thought Logan Paul Was Disgusting, You Don't Know His Brother Jake." In it, they recounted the controversies that Paul had up to that date, which, spoiler alert, were not necessarily few. However, his resounding success in the US YouTuber community made him take his first big leap to television channels. Jake, looking youthful and, in a way, charming, was cast to become one of the future stars of Disney Channel. However, the younger Paul seemed willing to follow the trail left by his brother by mocking a corpse and uploading it to the internet, and also becoming one of the most hated people on the internet. Whether it was for using the N-word, or for many more questionable attitudes, Disney Channel decided that Jake's talent was not exactly what represented its values. Therefore, the not-so-young YouTuber had to look for other horizons. Taking advantage of the saying that with fame and money you can do whatever you want, he decided to become a boxer. That's why there's talk of a real crossover, where an internet figure crosses the line to face a real fighter, a living legend, the great Iron Mike. Humility is not necessarily the value that best describes Paul. Paul has a record of 1 win in the ring, but even this milestone is controversial in his life. What he sees as an undeniable proof of his talent for the noble art of fists, others see as the rich kid who found a way to scam others with his businesses. Because Jake Paul's fights have been against out-of-shape fighters who do not pose a real threat or who have been retired from the discipline for years. Like Tyson, in his most recent fight, he managed to register a knockout victory in the first round over Ryan Borland.
Is in the middle of the ring. Nice right hand for Jake. Missing with it, and there's the right that lands. Borland, right here, right now. And they've stopped it.
But what happens when Paul considers facing fighters whose skills are current? While his stance was firm, Fury's skills granted him an undeniable victory. Jake Paul is not a new name for Tyson. According to his own words, boxing was dying and Paul revived it by giving it relevance again in a generation that truly did not care about the sport. By the time of the fight, Tyson will be 58 years old. It will have been almost 20 years since he officially retired from professional boxing in 2005. His record of 50 wins and 6 losses as a former undisputed heavyweight champion will be read once again in a fighting ring. But the question many old-school fans ask is what can be expected from Tyson. While he didn't retire at his best, his physical condition may play against him against Jake Paul. Paul may not be the best fighter of his generation, but he has remained active and training constantly for years. According to his own words, Paul longs for this encounter to see if he has what it takes. But knowing his history of business and under-the-table agreements, doubts arise about whether this is another trick to produce millions. Is Iron Mike really risking tarnishing his legacy and losing to an internet figure? Is Jake Paul risking suffering his second professional defeat, this time at the hands of Mike Tyson? Have both fighters come to an agreement to declare a draw at the end of the scheduled rounds? There are many doubts surrounding this encounter. However, for true boxing fans, this seems to be a good opportunity to see the youngest heavyweight champion in the world back in the ring. Mike Tyson's skills in the honorable fighting ring are out of this world. Since his youth, Iron Mike has earned the respect of fighters of all time for being a true knockout machine. His aggressive fighting style triggers deadly offensives, making him capable of knocking down the biggest and strongest rivals of all time. Therefore, his technique allows him to hit any opponent in the right way and work his victory with assertive attacks, staying firm in his guard to avoid being caught by counterattacks that simply are not at his level. Even on the days when Tyson didn't perform well enough, he still had more than enough to beat a fighter like Jake Paul. If at 58 years old Tyson is able to unleash the beast that for so many years left inert bodies on fighting rings around the world, Paul really has no chance. A knockout in the first few seconds of the fight is what awaits a fighter like Jake Paul when accepting a match against Tyson. However, Paul remains positive about it. For Jake, it's another opportunity to prove his worth to all the fighters in the world. He recognizes Tyson as the greatest heavyweight champion of all time and refers to him as the baddest man on the planet and the most dangerous boxer of all time. That's why this is the fight of his life. If you've made it this far, I thank you. If you liked the analysis, remember that there is no better way to support my content than by leaving your like on the video. Do you think Jake Paul has any real chance of beating Mike Tyson on July 20th? Leave me your opinion in the comments.